Spoiler warning, click off this video right now if you have not read Attack on Titan 139. Please, for the love of God, do not watch this or listen to this or like consume this in any shape or form if you have not read 139. That's your warning. Okay, so this video is going to be a podcast style type of video where I'm just talking about our final thoughts on Attack on Titan with my friends. So if you guys want to just, Anthony, you want to kick it off and you guys just introduce yourselves to the audience.
I'm Anthony. I'm a Taurus. I don't know what else you want me to say.
Yeah, Jacob, raise your hand. Jacob, raise your hand. That's Jacob.
I'm Jacob.
That's
nice
Jacob.
To meet you.
Yeah. Tyler is beneath me. Tyler, how you doing?
Yeah, so,
Audrey, is Audrey there too?
Briefly, and she's not really gonna add anything.
Okay, cool. All right, so Tyler is my cousin. He's cool. All right, DJ, you're next. So
Hi,
this is DJ.
I'm DJ.
They're awesome. And then Ted with the Armstrong family line icon. Okay, so first question that I'm gonna pop in. It's kind of like, you know, Jacob, Tyler, and I were kind of talking about this in great detail last night. Is the question of like, did Eren achieve freedom at the end of Attack on Titan? And whoever just wants to go first can go first. Jacob, I know you're dying.
No.
Jacob, I know you're dying to talk about it.
No.
Damn, we got 3 no's. Okay.
Yeah.
We got this cyclical pattern, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He literally just did like pain cycle of hatred, pretty much. Just with a lot more depth, I'm guessing.
It's like a complicated no for me, because, like, I don't know. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but, like, at the same time, like, man, shit's rough.
I mean, he was a slave to, like, the future he saw. Like, he never got to make a decision. He saw something, and everything was based off of what he saw. So nothing was in the moment. Like, he was a slave to the future, if that makes sense. He was never free.
Mm-hmm. Ted, what are your thoughts on that question?
To be completely honest, I don't really know. It's hard because I guess technically, kind of, because he did die, and that's kind of being free. But at the same time, I mean, it's implied that he's like reincarnated as a bird. I don't know. It's kind of wacky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's.
See a pigeon, I'm just gonna be like, Eren. Yeah.
Eren become Dove. Oh man, Tyler, you're a yes person on this.
I think there's really 2 things that are going on there. Like, one is just the whole deal, where it's strongly implied that he is somehow present in that bird.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is kind of like that dynamic that was like in season 1 of the anime, where supposedly he like is able to live on through Mikasa's memories.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how she kind of is able to hold him and accept his death.
Mm-hmm.
Is that he's able to, like, he's not dead. She's able to hold on to him like, forever through that.
Yeah, I'm a yes man on this one. You're gonna see that you're gonna see a pattern of me taking very optimistic stances on these questions. Mostly because, in retrospect, probably as soon as the anime finishes, I'm probably gonna like go down more of the cynical route as well. But right now, I need copium because I'm tired of sad shit in my timeline. So, I do think that like Eren did achieve maybe not freedom, but he did achieve the goals that he set out to do, albeit one, which was like, you know, he wanted to spend time with, you know, Mikasa and them. But that was obviously cut short. However, he did accomplish, I think, every other goal. You know what? It's like a 9 out of 10. You know, he gets an A on the project. He got an 80%. Oh, that's a B.
I mean,
That's a B.
what's every other goal though?
Removing the Titan curse, which was like the big one. So he killed all the Titans. That happened. And then his other one was like making sure his friends live long lives, which is again up to interpretation.
Debatable.
Which is debatable whether or not his friends get to live long lives. But
We have protagonist energy.
I believe in the Armin talk no jutsu, and I believe in the Historia talk no jutsu to get through. I mean, Anthony, you rolled your eyes there.
How many friends died?
I don't know, man. It's just like when I started reading it, I was just like, is this what we're getting? Like exposition for the first like half?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, what? Like there are just parts of it that like make sense, but like, you know, at times just I get where ECM was going, like you said, like I talked to DJ about it, like it was a happy ending, and we were like, when we got that happy ending, we were like, I feel a disturbance in the force. Like it's like we're not used to happy endings in Attack on Titan, so like when everything is kind of clearly, you know, I mean, of course there are loose ends, but with most things being tied and it not being, it's being like bittersweet, it's still like weird. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. Just that talk at the beginning, I was like, all right, we get it. Freedom. You like Mika, so let's get to the meat. Like, yeah.
Like at the end, I was still waiting for the other shoe to drop. I was still waiting for something else to happen at the very end, and nothing came. And I was like, like I'm still on edge, even though it's over, and I know it's over. I'm still on edge for something else to like happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Some like reincarnation of Flock or Yelena comes back or something.
Yeah.
Rico came back.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we kind of got it. I mean, they're basically Nazis on Paradise now. Like,
yeah.
Like you did like it just because we semi had like a positive outlook at the end. There's still lots of horrible stuff that surround them that they have to face. Like there's still enemies on every single side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the one thing that Armin said to Annie that I was like, okay, like I get it. Like you can't like stop like human hatred or something like that, or humans arguing.
Yeah, there's always going to be armed conflict. Like, there's always going to be conflict.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like the ending is just like although there's always going to be hatred in the world and there's going to be a lot of terrible stuff, it just kind of leaves you out with this little glimmer of hope, and you can choose whether to take it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Whether to take that hopeful route and just assume, or like think that you have trust in like the main cast in order to like be able to make some sort of meaningful change in the world, or everything will just go down a dark path and humanity will destroy itself.
Right. Yeah. It's yeah. Well, I mean, it's obviously up to interpretation, and the anime can definitely like tweak some things as to like. I don't think they're gonna tweak anything like plot element wise. However, I do think that with music and composition, dialogue, etc., they can make it either more optimistic than how we got it in the manga, or it could be presented more like cynically than how we got it, just depending on like because of how huge music plays a part in that tone. Let's address the elephant in the room, right? Who here hated the Ymir shit, right? Like let's like that explanation with Ymir.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, we finally get to see, and then it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it suffers from like, you know, like when you're playing a game and you can do that like, just one more turn. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's what Attack on Titan suffers from. It's like just one more chapter and we could have that detail we want. But ultimately, I do feel like, you know, it had to end at some point. So, like, as much as we may want, like, that extra detail to fill in this, that extra detail to fill in that, like, it did have to end. So it sucks that we didn't get those details. But, like, there would always be details we'd want, no matter when it ended, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's always the joke that, like, the entire story of Attack on Titan started with the pig. Or, like, a gate or something like that.
Yeah, it was what was it? Ymir letting the pigs free, right?
Yeah, and then she gets chased and whatnot, and then that's how she finds that like slug root thing that that keeps changing appearances every time it shows up. But it's like, yeah, that explanation, I was like, what? Like out of nowhere. I'm just like, with like all of his concubines, and she's just chilling there with a baby. Like, I love this man. I'm like,
okay.
Like, I don't know what to do make of it, to be honest.
Oh man.
All right. Well, what about like the whole thing where all the people had died? Like, okay, so you know, people turned into Titans and they came back. I mean, that kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But what about like, you know, Sasha? She just got shot, or like all the Levi squad. They all got like pounded into paste. How did they come back to life?
They didn't. They're ghosts.
I thought they did.
Yeah.
No, they were just ghosts.
Oh,
it was like the
Hanj.
Hanj. It was like the Hanj thing, where like she just saw their apparitions. It wasn't like
Yeah.
yeah.
It was like everybody that's
then
been watching over your shoulder.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, but yeah, so the other thing I wanted to address was the concept of Eren's character in terms of like what Eren is as a character, because there's a lot of Jaegerist stands, there's a lot of Eren stands who are very mad at this final chapter because they for some reason thought he was like actually a cold-hearted killer that was going to just destroy the world and didn't care about his friends, period, even though like in the flashbacks it was set up that he was still season 3 Eren. Like, I don't know how you... It's very clear... who here has watched Code Geass? I know Tyler and Jacob have watched Code Geass.
It's on my list.
It's on your list?
It's
Okay,
on
I'm
the
not going to
list,
say
yeah.
anything then.
Good.
I'm not going to say anything then. That's good that I asked that question. Okay.
I mean, I know the ending. 'cause
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
Oh, you guys are both know the ending?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's very clear, like, who has seen or knows the Code Geass ending, their interpretation of Eren versus people who have not seen the Code Geass ending and interpret Eren, right? Because, like, I don't know why, like, everyone's, like, especially on the r/Titanfolk subreddit that I follow for a while, everyone's hounding Eren as, like, oh, he's, like, a simp, he's weak, and all this stuff. It's like, dude, he literally, like, cried his guts out in season 3. Like, this is nothing new. Like, he hasn't... The point is that he hasn't changed. Like...
I don't think you need the Code Geass ending, obviously. Like,
yeah.
like, he had literally 2 goals this entire show, this entire story. It was, I want to kill the Titans, and I want to keep my friends alive.
And I want to be free.
That's
Those are
all-
the 3 things. Yeah.
Those are, like, his only goals. So why would he suddenly, like, at the very end, veer away from those goals? Like, those were his only goals.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know how that misinterpretation gets thrown in there, but I guess people think that Isayama hates Jewish people, so I guess there's also room for
Oh my god.
interpretation on that, so...
God.
Who are your guys' favorite characters in Attack on Titan? I know yours, Jacob, and I am so sorry for you and the pain experiencing that as a... So, okay, little anecdote for you guys, right? So, me and my cousin Tyler, we watched it with Jacob, but me and Tyler were, like, manga ahead, like, way before Jacob was. So, we knew what was coming, and Jacob would say the most painful things as to, like, oh yeah, all of a sudden, season 4 with Sasha's glow up, oh yeah, Sasha is now number 4 on the waifu list, and we're just
Dude.
like, oh no.
Sasha, bro.
And then, no, I kid you not, immediately after Sasha's death, he's like, alright, I still got Hans.
Oh, no.
And Tyler and I were like,
Not having a fun time.
Yeah.
I was not having a fun time.
Yikes.
yeah. Tyler and I were just
Oh my
frantically
God.
texting each other like, it's doomed, it's doomed.
How do you even recover from that? You don't, I guess.
No,
Yeah.
no, I still on our Discord like server we use to watch on. My name is still Rest in Potato Sasha. Like, I can't get past it. I'm still, and then I'm
Damn.
doing other stuff and I like make comparisons and I'm like, Sasha's still there, bro.
Oh man.
See more of her, you know? She's still kind of around sometimes. And
Yeah, as a ghost
Yeah, in
in
like a ghost
flashbacks.
form,
In
like the sad
flashbacks.
ghost form. Like, Sasha once was, but is no more.
Nothing but a memory.
Uh,
But yeah, okay. So, because I think this will probably have people on different sides. So, what's your guys' like opinions on Gabby by the end of the show, by the end of the story?
I mean, like, by the end, she's kind of chilling out with Falco, and they're taking care of Levi, you know? I feel
Yeah.
like they're just kind of minding their own business. So, like, I don't really have a
That's
whole lot
my,
else to say about that.
That's my favorite panel in the last, in chapter 1 through 9.
Yeah.
Just they're pushing him around in the wheelchair.
Uncle Levi, yeah.
I just thought it was weird. Yeah. I thought it was weird how when Falco jumped to her, it looked like she was like about to like German suplex him.
I know.
I was like, what kind of hug is that? Like, Falco was like almost like perpendicular to the ground.
She aggressively loves people. Let her love how she
She
loves.
aggressively loves.
Love is
With the
love. Bullets
suplex.
and in suplexes. So
Yeah.
she was
Very mixed emotions.
she was very realistic. As a character, she is awful. And she's a terrible character. But the way she's written, is like super realistic, that you can definitely see someone being like that given her circumstances. So like with that in mind, like I didn't hate her as much as everyone else did, because like I understood like her circumstances, but she did piss me off with like what she did and like how she talked. But like that's how realistic that writing was for her, and so she was like a very good embodiment of that kind of like propaganda thinking that like was developed in the universe, and like extremely realistic to like how propaganda works in real life. And you know, like even like little kids like young as her, like she was indoctrinated into that way of thinking. So she pissed me off, but like she was really well written.
But did you see it happen?
What I do think was interesting about her character is, like, opposed to all the other warriors, she's, out of all of them, she's the only one that actually like bought into any of it, which I thought was just a really weird like juxtaposition. It's just her just being like so like gung-ho about this, like having bought into the propaganda, right next to Falco, who like does not care whatsoever anything. I feel like that just makes her seem like more kind of like insane. If like
I couldn't get past Piek though, or I'm probably butchering the names. I'm sorry.
No, Piek was fine.
But
yeah, Piek's how you do it.
I can't get past her because she presented this logic like, as soon as they're done with us, they're gonna throw us aside. You know, they're gonna get rid of us. So we have to side with Paradise. And I'm like, this is logical. Someone is finally making sense. And then she's like, just kidding. And I'm like, what are you doing? How did your own logic not convince you? Like,
I think that one boiled down to she literally just said power of friendship, right? That's what that one boiled down to. It was like believe in her comrades, or it was the line she gave after her pointing at Eren.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which,
I don't believe in Marley. I believe in my comrades I fought beside.
Even though like one of her
fight for Marley.
Even though, like, let's be real, Reiner was literally suicidal at that point in time. Like, my man was like literally the suicidal dude in the room, and they're like, Reiner, what should we do? And Reiner was just like, what if we attacked Paradis, like, immediately?
Tried to eat like a bullet lollipop not that long ago.
A bullet lollipop.
Brandon, now that you say that, when they attacked, I can't think of the name of the fort, when he's like parachuting down, like what did it compel him to just cut those lines and just like become like a Jackson Pollock painting on the ground? Like, why didn't he like, this is the easiest opportunity I'll have, and he could just like, he's like, I'm out, and just like dips.
I think it's because
to save like Gabby and all of them.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, now that
it was only after Falco kind of like hinted that he liked Gabby, it was when Reiner really started becoming like, nah, fuck this.
I'll kill myself later.
Yeah. So yeah. Also appreciate for a second how Isayama threw like literally the largest red herring to all the shippers with that Historia and her baby. Like that got so many people. Like,
I think we spent how long debating who the father? We spent like 2 hours one night. It was like 2 a.m, and we were debating who the father was and like who shouldn't be the father.
Yeah.
For not, apparently.
I feel like that was an accident. I kind of feel like that red herring was an accident, because they cut like some one of the scenes in the anime that like kind of started that whole sort of like ambiguity around who the father of the baby was. So like Eren wasn't standing in front of the barn in the anime. So I feel like that was just to reduce confusion, because it wasn't supposed to be confusing. Like, I feel like that's just my like thoughts on how that, like what I think about how that would have gone.
Yeah, and then of course, you know, Armin obviously won the show. Like he definitely won the show. He can talk. He got the ability to talk no jutsu. He got the drip, and he got the girl. Like I don't know what more. And he survived Attack on Titan. Like not many people.
That's the biggest one.
Yeah. Not many people can boast that title. That hey, I survived Attack on Titan. Give him a.
I mean, his best friend died.
Yeah, his best friend didn't even make it.
I mean, I don't know if dying is losing.
Yeah.
Dying is losing, because like in Hanja's case, I don't think dying was a lose in her case.
Right.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't say her. There was that big issue over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
they had you know, like it was almost a win. Like
Yeah.
they lived up to, like, you know, all their comrades that had died before. So you know.
Well, that's another great thing to point out is that their death was like one of the very few deaths where like they had like a last stand that was like epic in some kind of capacity. Like everyone else was just getting glacked left and right, but like they were able to like actually fight off in like in some kind of fashion that you would expect of like a hero in that kind of story. You know, which I think really makes like lives up to the character.
I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, I feel like what the implication of life and death in Attack on Titan is really complicated, because they do have like that whole thing where, where like giving up your life for a cause like that is considered noble, but at the same time, like there was Zeke's ideology, whereas death was freedom and being saved, and then, like, and that was kind of in direct conflict with sort of the opposite side of being like having your birth be the source of freedom, and how that also like played into like just juxtaposing a ton of birth and death simultaneously in the past couple chapters.
Yeah, it's yeah, like let's, you know, take it for instance, obviously like the Erwin suicide charge, right? Like I didn't feel that, you know, I felt like all of the character deaths, you know, past season, probably season 2, were all very meaningful. Cause like, you know, even Isayama himself was like, okay, he admitted that season 1, a lot of the deaths were just for shock value, because a lot of shonen at the time, or well, it's technically a seinen, but like in that genre at the time, you weren't seeing a lot of shows that like really did, you know, what Attack on Titan did, obviously, with the whole killing a bunch of people horribly thing. And so I thought that like all of the deaths were very meaningful. Like Erwin's whole thing of like giving up on his dreams and dying. Yeah.
Eren kind of gave up on his dream and died.
Eren, yeah, I would say Eren also gave up on his dream and died. I think Eren died in a very Scout way, where he kind of like, you know,
gave up on his dreams and died.
Gave up on his dreams and died, right? He in trusting it to like what Erwin said, right? Our deaths give the lives after us meaning, right? It's not like when he was giving
comrades.
his right, like when he was giving his final speech and all. So yeah, it was. Go ahead, Jacob.
I think all the scouts kind of did, except for maybe like Flock.
Yeah, I would say I don't even count Flock as a scout, though. I really don't. My man was there for one suicide charge, turned insane, and then became a fascist. So, yeah.
I mean, I think you know, Flock's got some respect on his name in some essence. He went from like, you know, gutter rat to like leader of the Jaegerist party in like a season. Like he did something right, apparently.
Yeah, now I respect Flock for his rise to actually being an impactful character. Like, holy moly, it went from this dude with like a yee ass haircut to like this man who, to this dude who actually made an impact.
He's got a bird nest on his head.
I know. My man went from Bird's Nest to McDonald's Barbie Man to finally map a smooth them out to a regular human being proportion. Oh man. I thought that like, so from season 4 and beyond, what would you guys say was like your favorite, or just even in Attack on Titan in general, what was your guys' like favorite moment in the show? Like if you could pick a favorite moment, like what was your favorite moment?
Season 4?
Just you know, try to make it season 4, but like just any part of the show, really. Like,
I mean, manga or like anime, because like it's different, you know.
Okay, let's do both then. Let's do both if it's different, so we can do manga and anime.
I probably have to say like I love Erwin's suicide charge, but I love his charge in season 2. when he's charging at the Armor Titan,
Yeah.
and like once they play Ape Titan and then drums come in,
Mhm.
like oh I'm hyped, like I'm riding hard, and
Yeah.
so it's just like, and that part just like always gets me, and I love that part. Like with just like I just like love drums in general like that, and like any kind of OST.
Mhm.
And so when those kick in, like I was ready. And then for the manga, I don't know if this is kind of like cliche, but I'd probably have to say chapter 100.
Chapter 100.
Just like the
Which one was chapter
Declaration of
100
War,
again?
Yeah. Isn't that's the Declaration of War, isn't it? When Eren
Yes,
Eren kills
yes it is.
Willy.
Yes it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Seems like it.
just because it all just like builds up to that singular moment, and I'm just like, oh shit,
Yeah.
and then it just like pops off. Like that was probably like one of my favorite manga moment. But like Erwin's charge in season 2 towards the Armor Titan is my favorite anime moment. The OST and everything is.
Mhm.
I mean, it's so hard because there's so many just hype moments in it, but that
Right.
one just gets me.
Yeah, like the line also of like, is this hell? And then Erwin rides past like, no, but it will be. And then he gets bit off his horse, and he's just like, nah, keep
Yeah.
going. Yeah, that was so good. Oh my god.
Yeah. I like jumped in my chair because I was like, I did not see that coming at all. I'll be right back.
Jacob, what about you?
I mean, if I have to pick from season 4, as much as I have my mixed emotions on Gabby, I think the like Gabby episode they kind of had, or I'm not sure if it was the episode or two, but like where you kind of went through that, basically because like you kind of saw how Sasha's family, and like you got a bit more of like perspective of the average person, like when they were in the village, the Falco and Gabby, and like yeah, and like the girl was like screaming at them on why does my mom deserve to die, you know, like I thought that was just it was powerful in a sense because it really got across some strong emotions and made you think more about like how does everybody feel. Like we've been following the main characters, but how does everybody feel?
Mm-hmm. DJ Tyler's head. What do y'all wanna?
Okay.
I really like in season 1, like the forest scene when they're running away from the female Titan. I like that one a lot. I just think it's cool because it really. Because okay, my favorite thing about the show is the ODM gear. I think it's the coolest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact, because I think that is really like in the show, like at its prime when they really started to show it off.
Right.
A lot at least. And I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Right. So you must have really liked the Levi and Kenny chase then.
Yeah, I really like that too.
That blew their whole animation budget in one episode, and they still had like a lot of it. They still had a lot of budget left to go.
If I remember correctly, I think one guy did most of that.
Yeah, it was a one-man army deal. So for those who don't know about Japanese about anime, usually like the animation director will outsource it out to just kind of like it's kind of like an independent contractor type deal. Where they can get multiple people to work on an episode and you just choose how many frames you want to work on. And sometimes when you look in those credits, you will see that it is only one person, and that one person did the entire episode, and that is called a one-man army by his fellow people in the field. And I think, yeah, someone did do that solo, which was ridiculous to think about, because holy moly.
Because I'm looking, because Urafumi Imai did the Beast Titan, but I don't know if he did that chase scene. And I think he's done other things, other scenes in Attack on Titan too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he did that one.
I think my favorite like moment out of season 4 would have to be when Zeke turned everyone into Titans, and he's like, "Oh, Levi's not gonna kill his comrades," and straight up he's just like murdered his comrades, and then went to like just like take down Zeke, and it was like my favorite thing because like you see how the war has affected him. Yeah. And like before that, you see how it's affected him, and like he's like, "I've lost all these comrades for fucking Eren Jaeger." Yeah. And so it's like he's like, "I'm done. You know what? At this point, I don't care. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, and just hopefully I live to see another day."
Mm-hmm. And shout out to Mappa for that beautiful composition of all of the flashbacks on the trees, or chunks of the trees. That was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
played Beast Titan in that
Mhm.
scene too. Yes.
Tyler, what about you?
I don't want to pick season 4, so
No,
for
just
the
pick any
anime-
at point of the
Yeah.
anime.
So for the anime, I'm gonna say end of season 2. Basically, nothing's changed.
Yeah, that one was
I
powerful.
just think that moment was just, it just like it was completely bleak and hopeless and terrible, but he was able to turn it around, and I think that I feel like that had like a lot to do. It set up like the whole deal with like the founder as well,
Hmm.
because there was the turning point in which, like, because you had Emir watching from the distance, like the freckled one, of course.
Hmm.
And then that was the turning point where she was able to realize when he had the founder
Hmm.
that Paradis is like, or Historia and Paradis both like had a future if he was to be there with the founder.
Hmm.
And I feel like that was just a big turning point in the story.
Yeah.
And as for the manga, I think I would go with the Mikasa ice cream panel.
Yes.
You know, I have a serious reason for this.
What's your serious reason?
Because this panel's during the rumbling, right?
Hmm.
And the rumbling is just like this, like those are where the chapters are going on in the immediate time, and like the whole thing with her character is the
Mhm.
beauty in the cruel world, right?
Right.
So amongst this like great loss of life and terrible death, you just kind of like have this really like nice wholesome panel. And it's just like nice because you just like seeing ice cream for the first time and just being able to enjoy something really simple like that. Like when you see all this terrible stuff that's going on like in the current time
Hmm.
of the story.
Yeah, no, I would agree. That's very similar to like the Armin and Zeke discussion, where Zeke was just like, just even I would have been content just throwing that baseball, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, I would say for my favorite manga moment, it would probably be the basement scene. I thought that because when I started rereading, I finished season 1, could not wait for season 2, so I read manga, and then Isayama took that 2-year break, I believe, and then I took it as well. And so when I went back to the manga, I just finished season 2 of the anime, so I went back to the manga. I had forgotten completely kind of where the story was at this point, because I had read the retake while Mario arc, but it had been so long that I just kind of forgot the details, which was awesome to experience the anime with, reliving that. But I did not know that it was Eren when he showed as the hobo, because like in the anime, like obviously I knew, but like if there was the voice was there, I could recognize him. But in the manga, I just could not recognize him. So like when it was revealed that it was Eren in the basement, and just that discussion that they had was just really really cool to me. And then in terms of the anime, anime is a hard one because there's, like you guys said, there's a lot. I would probably have to say that it's. Jeez, I can't even think about it.
I mean, you're the one who asked the question.
I know I asked the question. Probably the ocean scene. Honestly, it's probably the ocean scene that was my favorite moment. It's once again that kind of bleak moment where you don't know what Eren is thinking exactly, right? And it's like their whole dream was to get to the ocean, and that dream was completely ruined for Eren because Eren got spoiled on Attack on Titan. So it was, yeah. And then with TKT coming in, I thought that was just really, really well done. So, but yeah, any last questions you guys want to talk about? Any closing thoughts?
I have.
I
one
do have a question.
Yeah, what's up, Andy? Go ahead.
Go for it, Ted. I'll ask after you.
I was gonna ask. So, what studio do you like better? You like Wit or Mappa better?
I'll go first on this one. I think that Mappa gets too much hate. However, we have not seen Mappa at their full capabilities yet to make that decision. I think, obviously, right now, Wit has done a much better job. I just think that Mappa, with the second core of the final season, actually being able to schedule for it properly, will probably do really, really good. But until we see that happen, I can't really make that decision. Because, if you've seen Jujutsu Kaisen or any of other Mappa's works, it's like 10 out of 10, like 10 chef's kisses. Like,
Honestly,
we'll have
I
to see
think
on
wait
that one.
times. wait times between anime seasons is what creates manga readers. Because
Yes.
you have a bunch of people who watch the anime who are like, I can't wait,
No.
I need to read it,
Yeah.
and that's how you
Yeah.
have manga readers.
Mhm.
It's with something
Yeah,
like
all
Attack on
mine,
Titan,
yeah.
you're gonna get spoiled.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Especially with Attack on Titan.
Oh my god, yeah, all the fan art I'm seeing, like all the, because I follow, you know, some YouTubers, like anime YouTubers obviously, and they're like, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of like weird out of pocket stuff on the timeline that I'm kind of wondering is Attack on Titan related, and I'm not gonna look at that. So, because like it's all the people memeing like Aaron Dove or like, you know, all the stupid stuff. So,
I'm so happy I stopped being anime only and
Yeah.
finished with the manga, because I've seen so many spoilers and I'm like, oh my god, thank God I read the manga to
yeah,
finish.
you can't escape it.
There's no way you would have made it out alive otherwise.
Like,
Yeah, poor
okay,
Mitchell. I did have a question
Yeah.
because I read this because I saw a comment on it. The OST. Do you guys think it carries a good amount of the show, or like standalone, give a generic kind of, you know? I guess you could say like a decent OST for Attack on Titan. Do you think it could stand alone, or do you think like the OST just like sends it over the top because it's like, you know, so good?
that's really interesting. I think Tyler, you could probably give the best answer, honestly, out of us on,
Well, I mean, like
music and
manga
OST
is
from.
the manga's the same like story without the OST, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
like obviously the story in itself, along with all the other elements, are like really really strong. But if you look at like the OST and not including just like the Hiroyuki Sawano OST, but along with like all the other Linked Horizon associated content, it like all of they have like a whole album. There's like a whole album like for Linked Horizon where they've multiple albums. There's one like compilation album and like another like extended play where they just go through like thematically like events of the entire show pretty much.
Like
Mhm.
Guru no Yumiya talks about the rumbling. In Guru no Yumiya, the first
You can
OP, it
skip
talks about the
you can
rumbling.
skip the rumbling from Gurren Yumiya.
It also talks about Ymir getting chased by hunters and dying. From the perspective of the hunters. Yeah.
I saw a thing like the entire ending was spoiled in the beginning of this thing. When they're explaining everything, they
Yeah,
literally spoil it at the very beginning.
the season
And you
2
just don't
ending.
realize
The
it.
season 2 ending spoils a lot, but you
Yeah.
just don't understand how you get to that point, so
What
then
are
no
you
one.
referring to by in the very beginning though?
Yeah. What was that, Tyler?
I just want to know what Jacob was referring to by the very beginning.
I might not have been the very I don't know. It was a loose, like in passing I saw something. It might have been like season 2, but like
I
there's
see.
that imagery where you see all the titans like chasing people across like a barren land. I
Oh,
forget when that came in at, but like there were like some visuals they had where like when you think back about it, you're like, wait, that's literally what happened here. Like it's spoiling exactly what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I think that was a season 2.
That was the season 2 ending, because it even shows like Ymir's kids eating her corpse. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was. It might not have been the very beginning, but yeah.
The season 2 OP also spoiled the original ending where Armin was going to be the last one standing. That one also heavily foreshadowed that, because like on the line where it has Armin covered in blood, it says, even if I'm the last one standing, I won't let your lives be in, like, I won't let your deaths be in vain, and it shows all the candles snuffing out as soon as that lyric happens. And it's just like, I wonder if it makes you wonder, like, does the Japanese audience make these connections because they actually, you know, read the lyrics and can see the foreshadowing? Because I don't, even with knowing the lyrics, I don't think if you were watching it in real time, I don't even think you can make those connections really, except for maybe the Armin one, because that one was kind of like in your face if you knew the.
Oh yeah, and like
Translation.
The X under the tree in the first chapter, the side of the tree in the first chapter. You think it's the Eldian Restorationist symbol, but it's really just where Eren's grave was.
Hmm. Yeah, and how like someone did like a literal comparison of the panels, and it shows like Eren's head is directly coming, like when he's waking up, his head comes up from that spot where his grave was, like his head specifically, and I was like, holy moly. Yeah, it's just like Isayama was just crazy to be able to produce that amount of foreshadowing is early, obviously accented by the anime and the OST and stuff with his foreshadowing, but just the manga itself, all the foreshadowing and stuff, like on a monthly basis, serially, Like, it's not like he just took his he took a 2-year break, but like a 2-year break, like the Snafu author took a 5-year break, and we got that ending. He took to those who know my opinions on the Snafu ending, I do not like it. But
Like, yeah.
if you guys like Attack on Titan, today's video is sponsored by Prism. I sponsor the video again, of course. I think everyone in this call has either read it or it has access to it. You can find it for $10 on Amazon or $5 ebook if you want to go that way. It has colored illustrations instead of black and white illustrations. Like action, like monsters. This dude kind of reminds me of Eren a little bit, not a lot, but it's there. As I've been told by my beta readers in hindsight, and it's kind of I hate to hear it, honestly. But
Oh wow.
Loose connection.
Lose connection.
Not that
But yeah,
strong.
Prism, go buy it. Yeah. So with that, we're gonna just go around in a circle, just closing thoughts on Attack on Titan, because I think that for me, this show was one of my gateway animes.
The show's not over.
I mean, it's not over, right? But the story, right? This story is one of the gateways into anime for me. Like, the big three were Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Code Geass, and Gurren Lagann. Those were, like, the first 3 that I watched that I knew I was watching anime. And then the Attack on Titan was the first one I simulcasted. And so, after that, it was just, like, it was just really cool, and I just love Eren's, Eren is, top 3 of my favorite characters, beside, Lelouch and Kaneki Ken. He's just, I just love the tragic hero archetype, and just this whole idea of him constantly putting, people put pressure on him throughout the show, right? Erwin in particular, and, that he is humanity's hope, and that he has to live up to those expectations, and every time he keeps kind of falling short, and people keep dying for his sake. And you see that corrosion in his mind, reaches climax in season 3 with the whole Historia thing and him just wanting to die at this point. And so that's why Eren going the Lelouch route, I just thought that was a really good end to his character. As much as I would love to have seen a happy ending with Eren, it's Attack on Titan. It was never going to be a happy ending. I never expected one. Honestly, I thought we got a happier ending than I expected that we would get. So, yeah. Attack on Titan, 10 out of 10 show.
But okay, just real quick, the music didn't carry the shows. That's what I'm getting from that question, right?
Oh, right. That referring back to the
was,
question.
Top tier, but the show also was its content wasn't carried by the music.
I thought that it enhanced the experience, but purely on the fact that I read still drawings of Attack on Titan and still loved the crap out of it, that no, I don't think that the music carried the show. It's a very good question, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of comments I saw that was compared to oh, the soundtrack carried the show, and I'm like, it's so good. I really don't think that's the case. The music by itself, I could listen to all day.
I still
even if I didn't know this part of. Oh yeah, I listened to it right before this podcast.
Yeah.
I listen to it all the time, but then that was just one thing that I was wondering.
I think a good statement to that too, though, is some of the really powerful moments were done in the quiet. When Armin did the whole saved Eren by talking him out of getting executed. There was no music. It was just Armin talking.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the most powerful moments were in dead silence.
Right, and even Tyler's favorite moment with the Nothing Has Changed, that was in complete silence as well. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Who else
Do you
is
have
doing
an
their
order you
marks?
want for the?
Jump in. I mean, Jacob, you're already talking about. Okay, so let's just give our opinions on Anthony's question and then just transition into your final thoughts. So, Jacob, you
I can
yeah.
keep going. Okay, sorry.
You're fine.
I think my big takeaway is the cyclical nature of things. There's so many ways in which you went back to ground zero, from the very beginning, and I think I never realized it, but when you guys brought it up, the fact that he's back at the tree, I knew he was back at the tree, but where the head thing, where his head comes up from there, it's all cyclical. Like he's back exactly where he started, like physically exactly where he started. Like humanity, in a sense, is also back to where it started at the beginning. You have a bunch of people trying to kill someone on the other side of the ocean. Like you're right back to where you began for a lot of it. So I think the cyclical nature of like humanity and like everything. I think that's my big takeaway from it.
I think adding on to that, like part of it is like, yeah, they're back to where they started, but at the same time, it's like the difference being that a change has happened, and that change has been the walls have been taken down. Like they're now in a world without walls, which is kind of something that Eren has also been envisioning since the very beginning of the story.
DJ, you want to go next?
Yeah.
And then we'll end this head.
I guess my final thoughts are just like, yeah, it's cyclical. Like Eren was like a break in that cycle. Like bad things will happen. They always say history repeats itself. And so yes, bad things will happen. Bad things will continue to happen until something breaks it. And that's what Eren was. It was a break in that cycle. He said, I am tired of watching good people that I care about, die. And was like, if I have to sacrifice myself, I'm gonna sacrifice myself. But like it's at a cost to my health. But it's what made him a good character. People that say like, oh, like Eren's like a terrible person, or like all over TikTok, all over Twitter, like people are like, Eren's a terrible character. Like, no, he's not a terrible. He did it for his own reasons, and those reasons are he wanted to protect people he loved. And so, and he says that in the manga. He's like, I want to make sure you guys live happy, healthy lives.
Yeah.
And so that's why he did it. 10 out of 10 character development.
I would agree.
Ted, you want to go?
I only have one thing to say. Yes.
That is something we can all agree on. Yes.
Yeah.
It has been a wild journey. Where even we were on 138 and we had absolutely zero idea how the story was going to end, and anyone who thought they knew how the story was going to end were capping. There was absolutely no way you knew how the story was going to end. And even when reading 139, you still had absolutely zero idea what Isayama was going to do in the next panel because of that Ymir thing. But yeah, so this has been a Talk on Titan, the Attack on Titan podcast.
Should have made that point earlier.
I would. It will be in the title.
It
It will. I know. I know,
That way
Anthony.
it could be cyclical.
But yeah. So thank you guys for watching.
Like, I say something real quick?
Oh, Anthony. Yes, by all means.
Yeah, I wasn't able to go, and I just like, sorry, I don't want to like cut you off.
No.
But it's just like, this to me is like one of my like favorite manga stories, and like just anime stories in general, and like, it's just like, it's so good, and it's like, it really just gives like a realistic take on like the concepts of like war and like human nature in general, and like so many of you have said like the cycle of hatred and stuff, and it just like, I don't know, I just find it like very powerful, and like it's just crazy, and like the idea is like so original, and like now like everybody will say like Attack on Titan clones and stuff like that, like it's like so new. I don't know, it's just like, it's a great show. Like it's the philosophies of war and like human nature, and like it's all like intertextual too, so, or not intertextual, like subtextual in how it's written, that it's like, it's not like, here's how war works, or war is bad, or Eren do bad thing. Like, no, like it's all up to our own interpretation, and it's like the way it's written is like, it creates debates that we have, and it's not like, it's very strategic. It's like open it up for debate. Like it has characters like Abby that are realistic, and like how, like what she goes through with like propaganda, and like Reiner and Bertold and Annie and the Warriors, and like how like they don't want to do it, and like PTSD. Like it just deals with so many real things in such like a realistic way that it's like, I don't know. It's like a great show, and like Ted said, yes, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
I'd always recommend this to anybody. Even if they're like, I'm not into scared stuff. I'm like, there's some stuff that's like pretty horrifying, but like you really should watch it because the writing is top notch.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great show. Favorite manga. Like, even though the ending is like here and there, but like I still, everything leading up to it is like just amazing. I'll always defend it no matter what people say.
Same. Attack on Titan is a hill I am willing to die on. So
Yes.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and I don't say that about any show except for this one. But yeah, I think that I am in agreement with Tyler's interpretation of Attack on Titan in terms of like I think that this story is most definitely better. You get a more enhanced consumption of the story if you deal it more abstractly and you deal with it more thematically and symbolically than you do literally. Because if you take it too literally, you somehow get the conclusion that Isayama doesn't like Jewish people, even if you take it literally, I don't know how you reach that conclusion. But anyway, this has been Attack on Titan. Trademark Anthony, and thank you guys for watching.